Who don't know me, that's okay. I'm not offended tonight because if we're going to be honest, never really heard of any of you guys either. But I was, for over 16 years, I was the co-founder and lead singer of the Newsboys.
The Newsboys really need no introduction. And within the past year, that hasn't really been for the best reasons. The recent scandal involving former lead singer Michael Tate caused a wildfire within the Christian music industry and has triggered what could be the last days of the band's career. However, I think it's important to remember that before the allegations came to light, the Newsboys had been going strong for 30 plus years, even before the former DC Talk singer became the frontman in 2009. In fact, what if I told you that Michael Tate was not the first member of the Newsboys to have a severe moral failure that caused him to leave the band? John James helped co-found the Newsboys in 1985 and remained their frontman while sharing lead vocals with Peter Furler until 1997, when he confessed to living a double life of drug and alcohol abuse, as well as failing his duties as a husband and father. Following his departure from the band, by the grace of God, John was able to embark on a long and arduous but fruitful road to recovery from his destructive lifestyle. John has a lot to say about this period in his life, and I would encourage you to listen to his story as soon as you have a chance. Just search John James Testimony in YouTube and I'm sure you'll find something. I had the opportunity of having John on my channel about a year ago, and now he is returning to talk about all the awesome things going on in his life, not excluding his upcoming autobiography, as well as his solo album, God of the Second Chance, the first music he has recorded since leaving the Newsboys 30 years ago. So please join me in my conversation with John James as he shares with us about how, even though we may fail and get it wrong, God truly is the God of second chances. Yeah, I was excited when you asked to come back on the show. I was like, okay, good. I didn't scare him away. I'm really honored and flattered. But you do have a lot to talk about that's going on in your life. But what's been going on now? I know you're
long
in the
ago
States
was that?
right now. I think that was like
how
a year
long ago?
Yeah.
Crikey, mate, we were so much younger then.
I know, right? Age just kind of keeps coming at me fast for sure. But I think it was like a year ago. I was living in a different place altogether. So a lot has changed. What has been happening for you in the past year?
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing journey. I think when we spoke a year ago, I was really excited about this crazy new season in my life with the new music. And for folks who aren't aware, it's the first music that I've done in, crikey, 30 years. Can you believe it when I say it like that? 30 years ago since I left the Newsboys, and the first music that I've done in 30 years. And the album's been done for a while. I think round about when we spoke, it was either finished or we were getting close to the final stages. But it's still, even though a year later, after it's all been completed, it's still pretty surreal for me, Clifford. I have to pinch myself still and listen to the recordings and think, oh crikey, I did do an album. So it's pretty surreal for me. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. There's actually a 12th song that we were just in Nashville a couple of months ago that we recorded that wasn't even a part of the album, wasn't even meant to be, but it kind of, I went into the studio with two other great guys in Nashville, and we cut the song and recorded it, and I'm looking to release that soon. And mate, it turned out awesome. It probably ended up being one of my favorite songs now for
Oh,
the song
nice.
that was meant to be, but it's not on the album.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, well, sometimes the best songs just kind of take a little while longer to cook. So
Yeah.
that's great. So I know, and I hope this is okay for me to say, you sent me a download of the album, and I'm sure other people have received it as well. But has the album been officially released at this point yet?
No, it hasn't, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. And
Okay.
I think eventually, like what I've done, folks like yourself and a bunch of people now have been starting to download the album with like a VIP download link.
Sure.
But the album is being given away for free now, not because it's
Mm.
rubbish. I'm really proud of the album, but it's in conjunction with a book that I've just finished with Broad Street Publishing that's being released on June the 2nd this
Okay.
year. And the book,
Gotcha.
oh, man, that was the most incredible journey also for me.
I'm
Right.
sure.
Oh, mate, it was one of the most emotional, intimate times for me in my faith in the Lord, and really honestly and transparently talking about the whole journey from my childhood days in Australia to starting the Newsboys to that whole crazy journey of coming to America, the whole story, the heights of success, losing everything, the redemptive story. But what I did, mate, and I didn't know how it'd go, I put a thing out online just to people I knew and my contacts and one saying, listen, about the book being released, that if folks would like to pre-order the book, send me a screenshot of the pre-order and I'll give you a link to download my brand new album. And
Right.
mate, it just took off. People were so supportive. Honestly, I was so blown away that how awesome the response was that it actually pushed the book to go to number one
I
on
saw
Amazon
that.
for
Yeah.
pre-sale book sales for a
That's
period of
insane.
time. You know, it spiked the algorithm and I got the official title, you know, number one, you know, on Amazon book sales for
That's
pre-sales.
crazy.
So I'm still doing that. I've got a few more campaigns I'm going to run for the new book, and just say to folks, listen, I would so value your support, but just to say thank you guys, how much I appreciate it, you know, that I'll give you a link and you can download my whole album for free.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll give them some like information in the description or something that they
So
can.
did you download it?
I did, yeah. And I've been I've listened to it a couple times,
Right.
and
Oh, here we go. Doctor, I'd love to get Dr. Clifford. I'd love to get your on. I put you on the spot now. But
I
if
guess
this is
so.
honest, transparent, real talk radio, then I have to be prepared to take not only the affirmation but the constructive criticism also, mate. So I'm turning
Oh
the
no.
tables now on you, mate.
No, putting it. Oh man, one of my childhood heroes is putting me on the spot.
And you know what?
um,
It's haven't you learned, Clifford, over the years? With music is so subjective.
oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
there's music I like where
Hmm.
I think, man, this is the coolest, best song I've ever heard in my life, and I'll play it to my 22-year-old daughter, and she'll listen to it for 10 seconds and goes, Dad, seriously, this song's rubbish. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? So
Oh well, yeah, that's the great honesty of family, and very helpful, I'm sure. But no, it's listening to the album. I've only listened to it. I've only had the chance to listen to it a couple times because I need to. It's been on my computer, and I need to like actually put it on my phone. But yeah, it's so much fun. It definitely has that early Newsboys DNA in it,
yeah.
and honestly, can I just say, your voice, it does not sound like 30 years have passed,
Oh,
honestly.
well,
It's
thank you, mate.
yeah, it's like hearing you sing for the first time just kind of like transported me back. It's like, oh, this
Thank
is
you.
weird. It's like it's a
Yeah.
new sound, with elements of, of the old Newsboys music, but with, the voice is like hardly changed at all. And
Thank you
so,
for that.
and
And it's funny, Clifford. That was part of the real fear and anxiety that I had to overcome personally. Because to be honest, even writing the songs, I never had the conviction of the belief that I had the ability to do it, because I didn't want to do it, and it really sucked monumentally in regards to not the songwriting, but my ability to deliver the song. And I had no idea, because it had honestly, Clifford, like I said, been 30 years since I'd sung. I mean, I sang. I literally have not sung any for 30 years, mate. And I remember, I think I may have shared with you last time, I had to go into several months of vocal lessons,
oh, okay.
an hour and a half a day, every day, at least 6 days a week, to
Wow.
try to get back into shape, because I had no
Sure.
idea what my voice would even do or
Yeah.
how it would hold up. And I used to be out. I lost 50 pounds. I got it.
Nice.
My wife had me at 5 a.m. every morning out on the pavement. Crikey, mate,
There
walking
you
4 miles every morning. We kind of want God, to do a miracle in us and through us. But what's our responsibility to that? And mate, I had to really discipline myself. With my voice and singing lessons that I was doing an hour and a half, like I said, almost every day, trying to get back into shape, rehearsing the songs and the greatest encouragement for me, and I had a great team of guys, with the producer David Evans and our engineer, that was a great guy, great team of people supportive around me. But that first day in the studio, Clifford, mate, I died 1,000 deaths, mate. The anxiety, because I didn't know how it was gonna go. You know what?
Sure.
And every day when it was time to cut the vocals, every day that it was a home run, it's like I felt the Lord just really encouraged me. I got you here. We're gonna do this. And I think I shared originally with you, mate, and I'm sorry for the listeners that watched the interview last time, but it was such an emotional journey for me. I remember after every day singing in the studio, when the session was over that day, I'd go out to my car and I'd sit in the car and break down and bawl like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't
Wow.
because I had this incredible emotional moment where I thought, look, our world, John James is back. I had this incredible sense of that the Lord was really with me, and he was helping me to confront and face the very thing that I passionately said I could never do that ever again. And for 30 years I passionately said that I would have been happy to go to my grave and never have sung again. And to face that thing that had become such an impossible Mount Everest for me to ever conquer was just surreal, and how God gave me the strength. And, I have no idea what's going to come of the album. It may do absolutely nothing. Maybe the greatest miracle for me is that I finally submitted my heart to the Lord and did that one thing. I said to God, I'll do anything for you, but don't ever ask me to sing again, because I'll never do that, because that's
Mm-hmm.
impossible for me. So
Yeah.
it was a journey. So for you encouraging me with those words, mate, that means a lot to me. It's really encouraging to me. And I tell you, mate, I'm so excited about getting out on the road with a band and actually now doing the songs live, mate. I can't
Yeah.
wait, Clifford.
Yeah. So you got a whole a group together, huh? Like an
Well,
official John James
yeah, well,
band.
we're slowly putting all the band together. You know what, mate? I want to do it 100% live.
Mm.
I don't want it to be, 50% band and 50% all on tracks.
Backing tracks.
I
Yeah.
man, I want to do it 100% live.
Yeah.
So good or bad, this is live pop rock, mate. And that was something that was really important to me, Clifford, in the studio. I wanted to, when I wrote the songs and was writing them to suit hopefully me and my skill set and my vocal style and range, I wanted to be sure that I could not only do the songs in the studio, that I'd had the ability to produce them live. Because sometimes, you can go into the studio, and studio always stretches you because you want to always give more and stretch yourself and grow in the studio. But I
Yeah.
didn't want it to be such a studio produced vocal that there's, no AI enhanced everything in the studio,
Right, yeah.
that there's no way in the world that I would produce that live. And
Yeah.
that was something I was adamant about. If I was going to make a comeback with music, I wanted it to be authentically John James.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, and honestly, and you're talking about all the hard work and the vocals and everything. I think that it's definitely paid off. And but yeah, and I totally get that, because you see so many like videos of musicians. At least for me, I don't know if this is the case for anyone else, but like sometimes I can tell that they're lip syncing right now. Like they're not actually singing this part. So I totally respect that. Just making sure that like whatever you record is like live ready in a sense. I think that makes a lot of sense.
And it's important to me to establish my identity of who I am. You made a comment about it's classic, sounds like 90s new, Well, of course it is, because I'm a child, mate, of the 90s. I love 90s music, you know what I mean? Cheesy, the 80s and 90s had some of the best, cheesiest, coolest music, mate. And I think once a newsboy, always a newsboy.
Yeah.
Why? And people say, what does it sound? It sounds like, 30 years later, I got back together with my mates, and this is my follow-up album. But I wanted it to be uniquely me. I know in the latter part, especially the final days, when I was with the band, with a lot that was going on with me personally, a lot of the music, especially live and in the studio, was being carried by Peter. And I was really more of a frontman figure because of my energy and charisma than a frontman vocalist. And unfortunately, I allowed different situations and circumstances, which of my own undoing, and I take full responsibility. And I talk a lot in the book about that. That whole journey. I really forfeited my right and ability to function as the lead singer of the Newsboys that I should have been. And in those later days, obviously, to keep the incredible ministry going, somebody had to step up. And so Peter stepped up on all fronts, whether it was in the songwriting or in the studio recording the song or live. And I really became just as a figurehead as in regards to this, crazy guy in his silver suits, But so I was really dropping the bat with my responsibility as one of the founding members and the original lead singer to continue to step up and through a lot of different things, which I won't get into, but in the book I talk all about it.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to establish who I was with this album and the new music and the new band. Not trying to compete against anyone. I'm trying to be uniquely John James, who God created me, and my style of vocal, which people do remember from the earlier stuff with the Newsboys, even the really cheesy bad songs. So,
It's all great, man.
you know what I mean? Because, we're all learning and growing. You know
Yeah.
what? This album was the most incredible experience for me, but I'm so excited now that I'm stepping back into that world. Mate, I'm running overtime now with creativity already now, even though I haven't released the first, in regards to the excitement of getting down the road again into the studio
Sure.
to do the second one, because I've grown so much and
awesome.
I've learned so much, and my confidence has grown so much, Clifford. And I've learned so much. It's been the most incredible therapeutic and mental and emotional healing for me. um, and to have the conviction that I can do this. And I'm at a stage now, mate, where with my walk with the Lord and what the Lord, if He does want to use music again in my life, where I'm hoping I can get to the place where I really don't care what people think.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that, well done, good and faithful servant. Because if God says He wants to sing through me again, to use a message of hope and redemption through song through me, am I willing to let Him do that? Or am I going to shut down again because I'm at the mercy of what the critics will say, what the
Sure.
reviews will say, what the people, man, this song is this music's rubbish. He should have never returned, and because you got to deal with that. But at a place where God, if you want to sing through me again and use the platform I have to bring a message of redemption and hope through music, I'm gonna submit to that and say, have your way, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think it's interesting that you talk about like those like the dynamics that you were kind of going through, like even in the last days of the band.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of puts into perspective that like your I guess security or rather insecurity of like being a front man, being a singer, being an artist had started even before you had left the band. So that like getting back to this must have been like what you said, like quite a Mount Everest for you to
Oh,
climb.
third, but isn't it funny? I think I got to a place, Clifford, where I believed the lies for so long that I was with music. I'm talking about that I was
Mm-hmm.
useless, I was hopeless, I was rubbish. I could never sing again. You never could sing. You're a rubbish singer. But God could never use you again. You have no. You
Mm-hmm.
get to a place, mate, psychologically and emotionally, where you believe the lies for so long that the lies become more real than the truth.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
where even if God sent an angel that appeared and said, John, God's call, I would have said, no way in hell, mate.
Yeah.
No, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. And honestly, I believe the lies become reality to me that I can never do this. And I would have so much anxiety. I would emotionally shut down if ever anyone courted me when I was speaking somewhere or want me to sing or to do a song, mate. You talk about having emotional relapse. I could not mentally or emotionally deal with that because the lie was so ingrained and such a stronghold. I think I could have been hooked up to a lie detector test and passed with flying colors because I believed the lies. And so that whole journey, 30 years in the making, um, was the most, it's hard to put into words, Clifford, but it was the most surreal encounter with my walk with the Lord and my journey in life. In my wildest dreams, mate, I never ever thought it'd be possible. The next
Yeah.
big thing for me is overcoming the anxiety again of doing it with a band. I think
Sure.
did I send you a clip of I did a bit of the song? I've been starting to do the songs with just the backing tracks at some of the churches I've been
Yeah.
speaking at.
Yeah. You sent me a clip of that,
A,
and I
a
was like,
little
oh,
bit
that's
of, I think I
awesome.
did the song Got to Remember at a
Yeah.
church, just,
Yeah.
being up on stage and so I've started doing the song and overcoming that anxiety. But
Yeah.
I'm actually hoping, the Lord willing, the first comeback show I do, where else, mate? I want to do it back in Vegas, Tennessee, mate.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
where I want. I'm hoping around, the Lord willing, around June or July this year. All right, maybe
Awesome.
earlier, but around June, I'd like to put a show together. I'm not sure where we're going to do it, but in Nashville, I want my first show in 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
The God of the Second Chance concert in Nashville.
Dude, that's exciting. I wish I lived in Tennessee, but I mean, I guess Tennessee is like a day trip probably, but that would be something I'd love to see.
Only problem is, mate, I can't fit into my old gig clothes anymore. So I'm trying to get gig clothes that are designed for like comfort now. So
Yeah.
I can't fit into try to look like I'm in my 20s in skinny boy ripped jeans anymore. That don't work.
Oh, I was
Um,
thinking of
pe-
the spacesuit. You need to get the
I
spacesuit
probably couldn't even
resized.
fit into that, mate, now. People said to me, are you going to be jumping around? Like I said, look, to be honest, folks, I'm 62 now. I ain't going to be jumping around like that. And even if I wanted to, I'm a bit afraid if I try to do that, I'll put my sciatica out now.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. We don't want you to we don't want anything bad to happen to you, like when we just got you back. You know,
I'm a pretty energetic sort of guy, but so when I preach, and especially now with the music again, I think I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to be cool, but I just can't help myself. I do get in character, so to speak, for the role of the song. And I've always loved that. I would love nothing more if I had a creative dream. I would love to be able to bring back, when I do the shows, the theatric of the creativity, where it's like every show tells a story, and how I'm hoping to implement that through a lot of video of what we're playing. So I want it. I want the theatrical outfit changes.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm a child of the 80s and the 90s, mate, where I love the theatrics of the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the creativity of music. Now, people say, well, it's all about the Lord. Yes, but God isn't angry with us flexing creativity. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have to be all, I would love to do the theatrics of the show and the creativity of that. And that excites that quirky Newsboy side of me.
Yeah, I was
where we were
say,
always looking to ignite that.
Yeah, it makes sense because it was part of the DNA of the Newsboys and it went on for years, and that was one of the great things that I loved about the Newsboys was that like every show was so fun, and like there was always something to look at, and so I hope that you tap into that more with the shows in some way for sure. And if you if you can't bounce around on the stage, that's where you get other people to do that for you. Like get some of the, I don't know if you've got your band together yet, but get some younger guys who can do that for you. Is
that what it is, man? Yeah. We're looking lineup wise. I've got two guitarists. I'm trying to get as many of the musicians that sing, and the two guitarists both are great singers, really got nice because like I said, I want to produce the vocals live and have it as best. I got a great drummer. So we got two guitarists, a drummer. We're looking now at a bass player and keyboard player.
Okay.
For the show in Nashville, I'll probably have at least two. I'd like at least two, maybe three girl backup singers. My wife will be one of them because she did all the female BGVs on the album.
Oh, great.
And there's actually one song on the album called Square Peg. It's just a silly, ridiculous song where I'm speaking. When people say, this song, what were you thinking? I'm like, I don't know, but I was having fun. And on the chorus, my wife, Tanya, sings it. Yeah. And it was a little bit humbling for me because out of all the songs on the album, I couldn't get the chorus right vocally for that song, mate. No matter, I had a mental block. No matter what I tried, it just sucked. I couldn't get the vocal right on the chorus to think, I just couldn't do it. So I got Tanya, and she nailed it like first take. I'm like, yeah. And so she got it like, oh, man. So
very humbling.
My wife jokingly says now, it'd be so like the Lord to keep me humble if one of the most liked successful songs on the album ended up being Square Peg, the one that she sang.
The one that's less of you.
Yeah, exactly. But so I'll have Tanya doing the BGVs. Some cool stuff. I'm actually in the process. We're mixing down. We've done all the music for Tanya's new album also. We co-wrote with Tanya. I did all the
Right.
music. And so we have 5 songs completed with her new album.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 5 more to be engineered, mixed down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, it's so exciting. It's so great that you both seem to be a perfect pair, just like two musical geniuses, coming together and helping each other out, and that's awesome. And she did make that track a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So I guess people can be on the lookout for some applications to fill out to be a drummer and not a drummer, a bassist and a keyboardist. Then.
Yeah. So we're looking at a couple of folks now, and just praying the Lord show me the right people to connect with, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get it out there, and the Lord willing, I just can't believe it's been finished.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have released it and started this a year ago. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that.
um, in a perfect world, we would have started this a year ago. But little did I know when I finished the album, a month or two after its completion, that the recent, last year, the tragic events would unfold were surrounding the Newsboys and Mike Tate, which was absolutely devastating to so many people, and rightly so. So we felt that we didn't want to release it wouldn't be right to release the album with all of that fallout. And also on a selfish note, we felt if it released now, we didn't want it to get lost in all the fallout of the fire and the smoke and everything surrounded that. So it was more tactful just to wait. So it's been on hold for a year. So now we've started to release the music. We've started to drop the music. There's 2 songs on the website that have been dropped now, and we're also like I said, having the album download available for free for people who pre-order the book.
Right. Yeah.
So I wish it would have come out, but unfortunately it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And very sad and tragic events. And I pray that through the pain of the countless people that were affected and the victims and everyone involved in this tragic fallout, that somehow God would use it to bring good out of it. That through it, God would use something that was so tragic, as he has done many times in history, where he can take a tragic event and bring something meaningful because of that out of it.
Yeah. Well, if anything, it's good that these kinds of things are coming to the light, to be exposed for us as Christians to respond to, for sure. I mean, it's hard to deal with. It was very hard to deal with. But yeah, that was kind of the silver lining that I had to hold on to, that this was God, in a sense, bringing justice. But yeah, I'm curious if you have any, if you had any perspective at all. I mean, you're in the band for a while. I don't know if you had many interactions with Michael Tate, but yeah, I'm just curious if you have a perspective from that time.
Yeah, I can't speak for any of the other band members, but my experience during that time, there was never ever any interaction with Mike that caused me to be put back on a back foot. And whoa, what was that? What's going on there? Now, I can't speak for anyone else, but my personal experience, I never experienced or witnessed that in regards to being on the road. Like I said, I never hung out with Mike Tate in regards to the DC Talk guys and all of that. We toured. We did a couple of tours together. But other than being on the road touring, we never really hung out. I was married. We all were married guys. They were all single guys, and kind of when you went home, just it was a different life. But, I have some pretty strong opinions with that. Sometimes people say, how could something so tragic happen when it's meant to be Christian music? And I say, look, whether it's Christian music or whether it's church ministry, whether it's a church pastor, whether it's a youth group leader who falls for inappropriate behavior, whatever it is, there's only one common denominator in all of those scenarios is people.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, people have the capacity to make really toxic, tragic mistakes. And I think the nature of the beast in itself, um, when you don't have strong accountability structure surrounding you to keep you on the right path, it's really easy to get off the path. And we live in a culture today that loves to turn people into celebrity rock stars. And the problem with that, once you start to really climb the success ladder, your circle of close acquaintances becomes really closed and protective and guarded, where it gets to a point where the number one focus is to protect the individuals on the inside and to protect the brand. so so you end up making just really dumb choices to protect the brand where man, so that means the brand succumbs the authenticity or the honesty or the transparency. The brand succumbs people who have been affected or abused or taken advantage of. So I don't know, having that accountable, I back then when I look at my demise, at the heights of success, when my world fell apart and my marriage fell apart and my career and I lost everything and was forced to step down and went down that dark road of, substance abuse and alcohol abuse and that, just lost everything. I have to be honest, Clifford, honestly, mate, I I honestly had no people in my life spiritually that loved me enough to get in my face and give me a clip over the ear. Or if there
Mm-hmm.
were people in my life, they didn't have access to the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We need people in our lives that we're honest with and able to be honest. For example, if I had an alcohol problem and I was meeting with you every week, we had
Mm-hmm.
an accountability group and you asked all the right questions. How you doing, John? Oh,
Yeah.
Clifford, and praise God. God is so good. I am doing so good, my friend.
Yeah.
And, Clifford, I could lie through my teeth to you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And unless the Lord showed you or I was exposed, you'd be none the wiser. And so
Right.
life would go on and you'd think, man, I'm so proud of John. John's doing awesome. But
Mm-hmm.
really, behind the
Yeah.
scenes, John's not doing awesome. So
Mm-hmm.
accountability is great, but it has to be bathed and soaked in honesty and transparency. I'm so thankful today. This is a hard thing to admit. I look at the mistakes I've made, and many of them I openly, transparently talk about in the book. And I look at the incredible redemption that God's done in my life and where I am now in my life. But I think it would be the epitome of foolishness for me to get to a place of being so bold or arrogant to think that I could never mess up or make those mistakes again.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the tragedy of the human heart, mate,
Yeah.
that we
Exactly.
are prone to that. So, my greatest strength in life now is obviously the people I have in my life that know me warts and all. The people in my life who know to ask the right questions. I am so thankful for my wife Tanya that has my back, and we have an accountability system in our lives now where, mate, I feel really safe and protected. My wife always says to me with our ministry that my wife refuses. Tanya says, "You know what, darling, I've got to tell you, we'll pull the plug tomorrow and walk away if we get to a place when we're up on stage and it's just a show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a performance.
Yeah.
It's just another conference. It's just another sermon. It's just another speech, another spiel,
Mm-hmm.
another rah, rah, hoorah for the kingdom." I said to folks the other day, we were speaking at a church, and I said, listen, folks, don't gauge the effectiveness or the validity or the authenticity of my ministry by my performance up on stage today preaching to you. Don't judge who I am integrity wise, character wise. If you sit there and you're so moved by my message that you've got goosebumps and, I can feel the Holy Spirit, that was a powerful, God was moving. Anyone can get up on stage and put on a show.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to know who I really am after the speaking thing tonight, go up to my wife and ask Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
She'll tell you who I really am. Who am I when I'm not on stage?
Yeah.
Who am I when I'm at home?
Right.
when it's not lights, camera, action. Well, what sort of husband am I? How do I treat when no one's around? What am I looking at on the internet? When no one's around, when I'm in the privacy, no one will know. Who am I at those moments? That's the authenticity. And, I love Tanya for that. She says, if we ever get to a place where it's just the show must go on, mate, she goes, we'll pull the plug and walk away tomorrow. One of the things that's really difficult for me in regards to the music, in regards to predominant industry people who like the album because they're classic 90s on Newsboys fans and go, man, this is so... and they made the comment, listening to your voice was like a time warp that took me back to my 90s era of Newsboys. But to be real with you, all the best. You have zero to no chance of getting your songs played on the radio today.
Yeah.
On mainstream CCM radio.
Yeah.
You just... And to me, that's sad. That the main lane, and we've talked about this before, of Christian music today, the whole worship lane is such a huge and predominant lane that if you want to get exposure, you want to get heard, you have to be in this lane or forget it. You're just not going to get exposure. You're going to be an indie artist and that's all you'll ever be, and maybe getting on some pod shows or at 2 a.m. in the morning or something,
Yeah. Yeah. And I talk about it all the time on this channel. I do my best to promote those lesser known artists that, CCM just for some reason wants to ignore. And it's, and I've had long conversations with some friends, and I have a friend, shout out to my friend, Eric Tuffinsome. He tends to call CCM the contemporary Christian machine.
Right.
and that kind of seems a lot of this whole conversation, like, from, the music that's allowed to play and then like everything to the Michael Tate situation. It seems a lot of people are kind of waking up to the fact that a lot of the thing that's driving CCM, unfortunately, is, and I'm not going to speak for everyone, of course, but for a lot of the big figures in that, the driving forces, money, fame, views or streams or whatever, and that seems to be a lot of what they care about. And I think that ultimately was a big reason why Tate's story was covered up for so long, because it, based off of what we know, I'm not gonna, everything's gonna be, hopefully laid out in a court of law, but it kind of seems that a lot of people knew and didn't do anything about it. So I don't know if there's any way that, did it kind of have that same feeling back when you were a part of it, or do you think things have just kind of changed a lot?
I think back then there's always been a lot of issues. Again, in regards to specifically the Mike Tate thing, it wasn't something that was front and center for me and my personal experience with Michael. Doesn't mean it wasn't taking place back then, but for me personally, it wasn't front and center. But listen, man, back then, because you had so many people involved in an industry, don't throw a stone in that direction and it'll hit Michael Tate. Man, grab a stone and throw him in any direction and hit somebody else. Okay, what about a whole tier of guys that are meant to be in Christian bands that are going out to bars after shows and getting drunk? Like, guys, guys that are living promiscuous lifestyle. Like, the industry will always be filled with the authentic and the unfortunate counterfeit. The life will be full. The Christian, you say, how could this happen in the industry? How can this happen in church? How many churches are filled with people who some are passionately committed and some are lukewarm? Well, now I'm not justifying it, Clifford. I'm just saying, how could this happen? Why are we scratching our heads? I don't think you can ever police or have a structure where you can have 100% guarantee. It's just like saying, I'm going to go to church and I want to go to a church where I have 100% guarantee that no one in this church is going to mess up morally.
Right.
We're such a close-knit family, our church is. Oh, the possibility, that's ridiculous. Now, I'm not justifying it. I think so often the machine fosters and empowers that behavior and that lifestyle instead of calling it out. But what happens, because we build these huge machines and create these incredible pedestals where these Christian celebrities are worshipped like they're rock stars now, whenever one does fall, it just sends, earth-shattering, earthquakes, mate, through the whole industry. Because the bottom line is no one was ever meant to be put on a pedestal. To me, one of the tragedies today is with the Christian worship thing, I think, is you're promoted today so often not because of your foundation of character and integrity, but you're promoted because of gift and talent. It's like, hey, this person, man, can you hear this guy or girl sing? Wow, they are so amazing. They are so charismatic. They look amazing. Oh, mate, this is wicked, man. This is going to sell. Okay, great. But what's their character and their foundation like?
Yeah.
What do they believe scripturally, biblically? Where do they stand on fundamental biblical truths? Oh, no. They're a Christian. What's that mean today? And we fast track people today in CCM on gifting, talent, and charisma, and foundation, integrity, and character are put on a back burner. And where you have people up on stage now that should not be speaking to a generation on how to live when they don't even know where they stand theologically on anything. Well, where do you stand theologically on marriage, sexuality, gender? Where do you stand on abuse? All these issues, all right. Where do you stand from a biblical Christian view? Oh, that's not important. But wait a second. It is important because you have a platform now that you are using as an influencer. And when you speak, people listen, whether you like it or not. Especially if you start to have a platform of influence, mate. People are hanging off every word.
Yeah.
Every tweet, every post.
Yeah.
So.
We live in a world where the internet has made basically like C-list celebrities like almost as like A-list celebrities, because like anyone has a voice, which can be great, but it comes with to quote Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility.
That's so true, mate.
It is.
So true.
And it's like a lot of people don't take that seriously enough.
Yeah.
At least they don't take the right things, like where they stand theologically and biblically. They don't take it serious enough, or it's just not as important, because just as long as they're they've got the Christian label and they feel like that they're doing God's work, and that's all that matters. But
So like, and again, we can agree to disagree, like when it comes to certain things, I have very strong biblical views and perspectives. Now, I may be talking to somebody that they are the exact opposite. Okay, look, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Now, I can still love you and respect you as a person,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to these things, then I just like you have a strong view and conviction, and I respect that. I may totally disagree, but I respect that. But I have strong views and convictions
Sure.
from a biblical perspective, which I'm not. This is where I stand. I don't make apologies for it. I have very strong views. Yeah, it's funny. Getting back to what we're asking about, that one lane, that big lane of congregational worship and that music. You're old enough to remember when festivals. There were much more festivals in the country, Clifford, and you'd go to the festival, obviously to see the main bands, but half of the fun to going to festivals was the side stage bands.
Oh yeah,
and going to see the bands on late night on these side stages that were up and coming and new, and oh mate, there's so far and few of that now.
Yeah.
Or if you want to try to break in, you have to jump into this pool of where all the music sounds the same.
Mm-hmm.
It is all that same direction, same chord progression, same writing content.
Yeah.
It's like and it all morphs into one. And look, I don't have a problem with that lane. I just said, God, let us have other lanes, CCM world. But unfortunately, we live a very polarized now, and there's that one big lane. And to survive as an artist, you have to be willing to jump into that lane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So that's weird for me, having someone in the industry just saying, I love your music. I think it's really cool, but all the best. You got 0 to no chance of ever getting your music played on the radio. And I have to be, you know what? I think it sucks, but I have to be okay with that. Okay, fine. Yeah. I'll go about it a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like if that's what the attitude is going to be, then maybe you don't want to be a part of that then. But yeah, and it's sad too, because I in my circles I have so many people who want variety. They don't want the things that they hear on K-Love radio. They want the creatively unique and everything. And it's funny that you mention festivals as well. There is one festival that I am, I know the people that run it, and I get to be involved in. It's called Audio Feed Fest, and I think a few years ago, Steve Taylor actually performed there.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, come on.
I missed that, but they do a great job at it actually kind of rose from the ashes of Cornerstone Festival. A lot of the same people. And it's still going
to this day? Still going?
Yeah, it's still going. Yeah,
awesome.
It's in Urbana, Illinois, and they do a great job because you'll go to one tent and you'll hear someone screaming and everything, and then you'll go to another and you'll hear some indie acoustic music. It's great, and you'll hear hip hop in another tent.
Yeah, come on.
And it's all centered around a culture that's centered around Jesus. And so I'm glad that I get to be a part of it, but it's true. It doesn't get that much attention though. And so I always do my best to, to preach its praises, but that's I find that important because I'm sure it's way different for you, because I feel like back in the 90s, CCM was so diverse. It was anyone could, have a good career by sounding so unique,
Yeah. And there was such a diversity. Think about it. Think about this. The back in the day, why it caused a huge stir in CCM. I remember when it was announced that Stephen Curtis Chapman was going to be touring with the Newsboys.
Oh yeah.
Oh mate, it was like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we were the bad and the ugly.
Oh man, I know a lot of people that would have loved to have seen that tour.
But it was so there were just so many. I remember a band that came out. They were only around for a little while. Yeah, and I thought they were so only because they were so crazy and unique. You remember when that band One Bad Pig? Do you remember them?
I don't remember them. No.
Oh, yeah, they were great. It was all. There were just these bands coming out, and it was just so. I think, man, they need to bring back Steve Taylor.
Yeah.
And he needs to start up a '90s training academy to help young bands break out of that lane and how to get.
That's what it should be called too. The '90s training academy.
Yeah, the '90s of training. Yeah, the '90s training academy, and Steve Taylor's going out on tour with Russ Taff.
Yeah. So I think they have
starting
already done a few
in soon.
performances, but
yeah, so that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
And that guy, I love Steve Taylor, one of the real deal guys in the industry, one of the most, even to this day, one of the most quirkiest, creative guys, and absolute legend, was such a pioneer to really bring a creative side. Edgy at times, annoyed people at times, very controversial at times, but that's okay.
Yeah, we need more of that, I think, and whether, there might be a few, hits and a few misses, but, I think voices like that are important.
It's funny with the industry, when I was stepping back in and starting to promote the album, I had some good intentional people, good intentions. They in the industry reach out to me in Nashville, and they meant well, but they strongly encouraged me to really back off with the rhetoric and to turn down the volume in regards to my history and connection with the Newsboys.
Oh, yeah.
And they felt this will not be good for your ministry. You want to really tone down your history and your connection with the band, because unfortunately Newsboys is not the flavor of the month and very toxic. And God bless their heart, they meant well. But after that, mate, my wife and I were just talking and praying, and mate, I couldn't feel the exact opposite. And I really felt in my heart, through my devotion and just spending time with the Lord and in scripture, I really felt this season of my life, God hasn't called me to be quiet and shut up. In the light of what went on with Mike Tate and the Newsboys and this whole scene, more than ever, I need to shout louder. God's incredible redemptive story.
Right.
And to shout louder that though these situations and circumstances are so tragic, nobody, including the victims, nobody is beyond redemption and healing. And if we take the redemptive story of the gospel off the table, what right do any of us have to be here today? Doesn't mean we justify the atrocities and the tragedies we see, but that is the power of the redemptive story of the gospel, that none of us deserve a second chance. Not all of us, because of sin, deserve the death sentence. But in the midst of our brokenness and sin, but God intervened.
Yeah.
And that is the crunch and the foundation of the miracle of the gospel message of the cross. And so I just started shouting my testimony, not apologizing for my history, but shouting even louder why we need to be clear about the foundations in our life that stop us from falling. The safety rails, the safety guards. How can we protect our marriages, our personal walks, our families, our walk with the Lord, loud and there. And I think that's how that new song I told you about that we wrote a couple of months ago came out of that. The song Louder.
Nice.
Actually, after the interview, like I said, it's not released yet. It's just for you, Cliff.
Okay, yeah.
I'll send you the track of it, and you can have a listen to it.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'd love to hear it. I'm excited.
And that's how that song came about. It's like a redemptive song that talks about how he's God of the mountaintop, he's God of the valley below. that his love and his redemption shines on the most broken of times. And how I'm going to shout that redemptive story louder.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's crazy that anyone would ask you to do that, because it's such a big part of your story. And I'd mentioned this before because, you know, we kind of had a little conversation before we started recording, but, you know, when all the news broke out about the Newsboys and everything, I couldn't help but think of you and your story. And it's perfect too, because now I'm not, you know, Michael Tate's story's not ended yet. Hopefully there is some redemption for him, but your story shows that, like, hey, here's how you can take a similar situation, but it doesn't have to have a bad ending, you know? I mean, and based on your story, your story came really, really close to a very bad ending, but God saved you, and you lived to tell the tale, and to be able to say, like, hey, here's how, you know, how important accountability is. Here's how important being connected to church fellowship is, and, you know, being connected to your own family. And so I think that your story is as important as ever in this situation. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, we are, you know, and just telling that whole message, you know, we all do our bit, mate. I never cease to be amazed how God has in the past used somebody like me, and at 61 years old, he still has a desire to use somebody like me. And I don't know how many years I have left in this world, Clifford, but I want it to count. I want to finish well. And have I always done it right in my life? No. Have there times I made terrible, tragic mistakes that shipwrecked my life? Yes. Terrible mistakes that destroyed my first marriage? Yes. I can't change the past, but I want to wake up every day now with a heart's desire to say, God, however amount of time, whatever the amount of time I have left in this world, I want to make every day count. Give me the strength today, every day, to live a life that honors you. Well, you know, I don't have to be on the grand stage in front of thousands in the lights. It could be somebody at the checkout. You know, somebody at the gas station, somebody at the corner store, somebody on the side of the road, you know, and let me live a life that brings honor to you. And it's okay if social media doesn't know about it.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, I'd love for your story to be, you know, known across the world, but for the point of, you know, pointing to Christ and the amazing work.
How far are you from Nashville?
Well, Illinois, I think it's like
what's
few
the drive?
hours, probably a day drive. I'm not sure. I haven't. I had friends that took trips to Nashville without me.
Mate, good friends.
Yeah, I know.
You're on the block list now.
Yeah. Let me see. What does GPS say? Let me look up Nashville, Tennessee directions. That's a 6-hour drive for me. So a day trip.
Oh, mate, you could almost
just down
walk
the
that.
street.
6 hours. Oh, crikey. I'll make sure I'll keep you updated and posted, the Lord willing, when we do the first show in Nashville.
Yeah, because either way, I'd love to take a trip down to Nashville. And that would be a great excuse for me.
I'm trying to find a comfortable silver suit now that comes in sweatpants.
Yeah, well, I hope to see that. I would love to see you back on the stage in a spacesuit. That would take me back. I never got to see the Take Me to Your Leader tour,
right?
But it would give me. that would be close enough for me, honestly.
You know what? It was one of the most iconic Newsboys, one of the most fun tours to perform, and the production and everything. Yeah. And you know what's so sad to this day? There's very little footage online of it. Yeah. Because back then, Clifford, no one had the phone. Today you can't do anything, and there's internet's full of some of the video. Yeah. They're just I look at even my era time with the band. There is footage, but people say, why? Because it was a different era with recordings and stuff. You know, and as the band's era, I look at like when I left and Peter was in the thing, and then the whole evolution with phones and iPhone, everything. Man, there's so much footage today online, but I'm thinking, man, I wish we had more cool footage. There's very far and few from back then. You know?
Yeah, and it's always a treat to find anything. Honestly, I know I got a couple of VHSs that I was able to nab myself. I can show them off actually. I think I bought these off of someone on Facebook or something, but I'm sure you remember these.
Oh crikey! Look at that, mate. Hey, a bit of see the Boys Will Be Boys.
Yeah,
See all the. I'll give you. If you look on my sleeve, have a look on my sleeve.
Oh,
my sleeve. Oh no, on the video on the Boys Will Be Boys album. Look at I want you to look on the sleeve.
Oh yeah. Okay.
On the front cover. What the sleeve of the suit I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Can you see a little square?
Yeah,
on the suit.
Yeah, on the left sleeve.
On my front sleeve of my arm. It's the price tag. We had a friend of ours, Steve, who was our light guy. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll
Steve,
focus.
who was our light guy. He worked at this clothing store called Naji that had really nice, trendy clothes and suits. So for the photo shoot, he sneaked a bunch of suits out for us. We tried, and we wore them for the photo shoot. And then as soon as the shoot was over, we quickly got the suits all back to the store, and no one was none the wiser, mate.
And you didn't think about hiding the tag?
Nah, I forgot. Boys will be boys, mate. What can I say?
That's great. That's some great exclusive trivia that I've never heard before.
Trivia there, right there. You know, I sent Steve Taylor a script for doing Down Under the Big Top 2.
Yeah, I that was like one of the first questions that I had for you. Is that really a thing?
Well, we'll see. It could be in the work, but the new ones now isn't going to be. It's Down Under Big Top 2, but the plot of it is Escape from the Retirement Village.
Dude, yes, I would watch that. I would definitely see it. I would see that in the theater.
It'll be a cross between. You remember that famous 80s, 70s, 60s, with all famous The Great Escape. It was a war movie.
I love that movie.
It's a cross between that tunnel movie, The Great Escape, and The Chicken Run.
Yes. Well, Chicken Run is basically a parody of Great Escape.
Of that. So it's going to be along those lines, mate. You know, Down Under the Big Top 2, Escape from the Retirement Village, mate.
To do one more show.
One more show for cousin Stangoulis.
yeah, you can't do it for Uncle Luigi anymore.
No, he died, but cousin Stangoulis took it over.
I love it. Right? I will hold you to that. I want that to be a thing.
Well, mate, listen, I appreciate your time. It's been pretty cool to circle back and go over some of the exciting stuff. Let our viewers know if any of them would like to get the album, you know, that they can get it by pre-ordering the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I can, if you don't have it already, I can send you how folks can get that off our website and blah, 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 and all of that.
Yeah, definitely send that over. And, you know, I'll put more information in the description below. And yeah, because I want people to hear this, the album, and I want them to be able to read the book. I'm excited. I've got it pre-ordered, of course. So it can't come soon enough. When is it coming out again?
The June 2nd is the official release with Broad
That's
Street.
perfect. That's the month of my birthday. But I mean, I guess it doesn't make sense because I already pre-ordered it. So whatever. Yeah. it'll be a happy birthday month for me. So
and when I hang up, I'll shoot you that song too to your phone. All
right? Awesome. Sounds good. 40 hot years is a long, long time. Walking around in the red hot sun. Thanks again so much to John James for appearing on the channel again, and thanks so much to all of you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and listening to our conversation as much as I had talking with him. And if you guys want to get a download of his new album, God of the Second Chances, as well as just a good chance to pre-order his new book, go to Amazon, search up Newsboy, My Story of Hope and Second Chances by John James. Give that a pre-order, take a screenshot, and email that screenshot to Tanya at ireachusa.com, or all that info is going to be down in the description for you as well. There'll be a link to the Amazon order as well as Tanya's email that you can send that to, and you will be sent a link to download his new album. So pre-order the new book as well as get a exclusive download of his new album. I promise you guys won't regret it. Alright, so now that that's over and done with, we are now at the part of the video where it's time for reading comments with Clifford. The part of the show where Clifford comes out and reads some comments. And if you guys enjoyed this interview, then I'm sure that you would love the last interview that I had with Jake McElfresh of Front Porch Step. I mean, obviously, if you're a big fan of hearing testimonies from people who God just really intervened in their life and changed their life for the better, then look no further than my last interview that I did with Jake McElfresh. And here's some comments that were on that last video, which, speaking of which, thanks very much, Isaac Holsworth. I definitely do hope to do more interviews like this. Interviewing really special guests is definitely something that I wanted to keep doing. Even though I wasn't doing the I'm Clifford Today show, the interviews were going to keep coming. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy this one as well. And if you guys have any other guests that you'd like to see on the channel, be sure to leave a comment below. And this is kind of a response to both of these comments from Caphead. I think that Jake has done a really good job at owning the wrong that he actually did, which, is warranted, but I do think that it is true that both the media and Haley Williams and Buddy and Soupy, there was definitely an overreaction and definitely lies that were told about Jake and what he actually did, which I think it's important to make that distinction between the lies and what actually happened. So yes, I totally agree. And thanks so much to Matthew Fuchs. I actually have been putting a lot more care and attention to my interviews than I have in the past in terms of the editing and such. So I appreciate the feedback and hope that you actually went back and watched the rest of the interview. So I think that's all I got for you guys. As always, working on some really cool stuff, so I really appreciate the support. And, if there's a chance that you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and to leave a like and to comment and all that stuff, because I really do appreciate the feedback. So, hope you guys have a wonderful life. And just remember that I'm Clifford today, and you're not.